started. We're not going to meet for terribly long unless you have questions for me. Right now, there's only 32 of you guys in here, meaning I have 110 or so students not in here, which isn't great. I also am not expecting everyone to take the exam. I'm expecting about 80 to 100 students to take it. So that still means that there's probably only half the people that are taking the exam in here. And the reason why I'm telling this to you is the information I'm going to give you is pretty practical today for taking the exam. And I want to make sure that if you know other people who are taking it, please pass this along to them. Even if it's not for my class, if you know they're just taking other AP exams, the information is pretty good for them, especially what we're talking about at the very end, which is some problems and troubleshooting that the first AP test have seen. I think the first AP test was Monday of this week. So we have a little bit of data on things that students are experiencing that are issues. All right. So first thing, just to give you a brief overview, in case you're brand new, the AP exam is this Friday at 2 p.m. You need to log on to My AP, and there should be an e-ticket in there for you. It should show up actually today. So you can go on My AP and see if the e-ticket's there. If it's not there, they are also emailing them to whatever email address you use to sign up for My AP and College Board. And if you don't have access to that email address, again, it should be in My AP. So it's going to be in one of those two spots. That's going to be your link to the exam. I think that link goes live 30 minutes before the exam. Maybe it goes live a little bit before, but you should try to enter into the exam 30 minutes beforehand. You'll enter in your AP ID and fill out personal information. So no matter what, though, the exam starts at 2 p.m. So you need to be ready to go at 2 p.m. Have whatever cheat sheets you're going to use, be prepared. When the exam starts, most of you guys, if you're taking this on a computer, you're going to want to use two windows, one exam, or the exams on one window and then a Word document on another. Make sure you type in your AP ID and initials at the top of the document. Do this during your 30 minutes before your exam so you don't forget. You'll type out your response and then copy and paste it. You have 5 minutes to copy and paste in. And then upload, and we're going to talk about this, but you definitely don't want to mess around with the last 5 minutes because that's where students have run into a lot of problems. Okay. You also have your AP review. You're turning that in for 2 test grades. You have 2 options of how to turn it in. One is an electronic copy, which you can email to submitmurrayhomework@gmail.com, which is due by midnight on Friday. Please do it as a Google Drive folder and then share that folder with me. The other is a hard copy, which you can drop off to the school from Friday, Monday, or Tuesday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. I have 12 noon here, but I'm probably just going to be there from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday and Tuesday. Let's see. Questions? All right. All right. Final small grading things. The last day you can do a retake is May 19th. Which is next Tuesday. It's also my wedding anniversary. Shout out to my wife. And then you also are going to have your lowest test quiz and homework grade dropped on Monday. So you should have a good understanding of where your grade stands going into Tuesday. All right. Now, just some small things in preparing for the exam. It's just a DBQ. It's just 45 minutes. And that topic is going to be from period 3 to period 7. Most people are thinking that it's going to cover a lot of different time periods. So it's going to be something like, how did immigration change from 1800 to 1900 or something like that. Now, you want to make sure you know your strategy by heart. I'm going to show you where you can find the strategy that I recommend you use. It's not the one that you have to use, but the one that you could use if you don't want to come up with your own. You want to know the rubric, and cheat sheets can be helpful, but don't over rely on them because they can also be, they can slow you down too much. All right. Now, the thing that I really want to make sure you guys know, there have been some problems. I will say 80% of students have taken their test without issues. 20% have taken them with some problems. So the first thing is there are, it seems to be multiple prompts this year. Usually AP for the DBQ, they only give one DBQ to every single student. It's the same DBQ, same document, same order, all that stuff. This year, it seems like there's multiple prompts. Now, the reason why I'm telling this to you is because I know, and this, I'm not scolding anyone for this. You got to play the game correctly, right? But there might have been some people who are maybe like going to try to do some type of FaceTime call or something like that and then work together on that. This may deter you from doing it. You can still try it, but you guys may have different prompts. So I just didn't want that to overly surprise anyone if you see that. The second thing is copy and paste is definitely your easiest option. So that would be where you are typing it into a Word document of some type. You copy all the information and then you paste it into the exam field. And I would highly recommend using that option. If there's a problem, you'll hit clear field and then save it as a Word file and then submit it through the Word file or PDF. Now, the next thing would be, if you can't find your e-ticket, I've kind of told you where the two spots they should be. If you can't find it in either of those places, let me know by tomorrow. There's nothing I can really do except for pass that along to Mr. King, and he will try to figure out the issue for you. But that's where the two spots that they should be in. Now, when you go to submit your exam, there's going to be like a little loading thing, and it will just kind of be in the middle, and you should kind of understand what I'm talking about, but it'll just kind of circle like it's processing. You just need to let it do that. Don't click refresh. Do not click back. Again, do not click refresh and do not click back during this time. You just have to let it circle. It might circle for minutes, which is why you need the additional 5 minutes to upload the exam. I would not mess around with this. Maybe work for an additional 30 seconds, but at the 45-minute mark, you have 45 minutes to take it, but it's going to say 50 minutes on the timer. That last 5 minutes, the timer is going to go red. That means you need to submit the exam. So as soon as that timer goes red, you probably need to submit it so that it can circle. Next, you can't use Internet Explorer. You can use basically anything else outside of Internet Explorer, but you can't use Internet Explorer. And then you can't have any plugins on your browser. So if you have a VPN like Ola or Grammarly on your browser, especially for like Chrome, then you need to make sure to remove those plugins, okay? The last thing is, if you're using your phone and you're having to handwrite this exam, which I don't think technically have to handwrite it. I think you can actually toggle back and forth between the exam and like the Notes app, but that would maybe be too hard to do. So let's say you're using your phone and you're going to submit pictures, or you just want to handwrite it. The new iPhones and iPads don't save pictures as a JPEG or PNG file, and that's what's needed. So to get around that, what you will actually have to do is you will have to email the pictures to yourself. Save the pictures as an attachment to the email. And then once you open the email will have automatically converted the picture to a JPEG file. So then you'll save that picture from the email and then upload the newly saved picture. This is only for people who are planning on using the picture method, which is not the preferred method. The preferred method is copy and paste or save as a Word file. Okay. Now, just two things in case either of those make you a little nervous. First is if you go to cb.org/AP demo, click on go to demo, type in practice, get started. You can go here. This is kind of show you what the AP exam is going to look like once you open it up. Now, it's not going to have the documents or anything like that, but if you, for example, want to see, can I submit pictures from my phone? Is my phone good? you can do this on your phone and then try to upload a picture, and it should tell you if the picture is good or not, if you can do that. Or if you just want to practice being in a Word document and copying and pasting things from a Word document, you can do that. For whatever reason, it makes you still have 5 minutes until we do that. So we're not going to sit here right now and look at that. But that's one way to try to ease tension. The other thing is if you go to my website, you click on mrmurrayhistory.com, you go to the front page, I have made an AP exam cheat sheet for the day of. It doesn't have that much incredible stuff on it. You definitely want to look at this before you actually take the exam, but it has the rubric. The rubric's a little bit different. So for example, it has 3 points for document analysis, 2 points for outside info, 2 points for PETA, 1 point for complexity. And then I have additional notes from talking to AP graders. I've been talking to a couple of AP graders about what's really important. So for example, the complexity point, they really highlighted how this needs to be something that's throughout the argument. It can't just be one paragraph of counterclaim really to get it. All right, so there's 10 points for this rubric. I've been told, we are not 100% sure, but it's been said that probably around 5 points is going to be a passing grade. So if you're really nervous and you're looking at this and you're like, I don't really know a lot of outside information about my prompt, and I have no idea how to do PETA, and I don't even know what complexity is until right now. That's okay. What you want to focus on then is your thesis contextualization and document analysis. That will get you the 5 points. So 5 points would get you relatively like a 3. That's kind of what they're thinking. Not 100% sure yet. They haven't stated it, but that's what they're thinking. Below here, I have strategy. So the different steps you should take and the timing that you should use for those steps. All right, and then the final thing I have is this cheat sheet, which it's a little blurry, but how this cheat sheet works is it's got the periods right here, and then it's got different themes. So let's say they say, how did national identity change from 1754 to 1877? And what you could do is you could see right here that this is the national identity during each of the periods. Or it might say what was something that changed culture and society during this time, or migration, how did geography affect this thing? This is just supposed to be able to jog your memory of big things going on during this time period. It's not enough for outside information. It's just supposed to jog your memory of outside information. Yeah, so the kind of theory is some people think that the prompt is going to cover multiple periods. It's never covered multiple periods before. It's a big debate right now in the AP US history world. But yeah, some people think it's going to cover multiple periods. I have no idea. I'm not good enough to know. So how you do the AP demo is you just go to, again, if you just Google search AP 2020 demo, it pulls it up. All right, and since we only have like 1 minute left on here, I'll go through this. Make sure they said that you want to make sure you click home for where you're testing from, even if it's not your actual house. Probably just click home, easiest option. And so then this is what it will look like when it says your test will begin soon. So again, it says do not refresh this page or hit the back button. Here are your 3 options for how to submit. Again, I would recommend the copy and paste. It tells you exactly what to do. And the exam starts. Cool. The exam question is going to be right here. So you will have your prompt at the top. We'll kind of tell you briefly how to get the points. Do not worry reading about how to get the points. You should know that already. And then you can go to attach response. If you're attaching a text file, you would click that. If you're attaching a photo, you would click this. All right. Then you would browse for your file if you needed that. You would attach your photo if you're doing that. Again, those are not the ones I recommend. The ones I would recommend is to just paste the response, which is where you go to a Word document, copy it, and then that would be it. Then we'd go to submit, ready to submit. Now, this says that it says question 1 is complete. Question 2 will automatically start at this time. You don't have a question 2. You only have one question. So you have 45 minutes for one question. So that's one part of the demo that's not going to be accurate for you. All right. Any questions about this stuff? Seven, you never know. I could have been born in 1947. So you find your AP ID either through the email that you signed up for College Board on, or it should be on your My AP app, like the My AP page. Anything else? Correct. You should have it in your email by now. The only people that wouldn't be able to access it in their email, some of you guys signed up for your College Board using an email that now you don't have access to, which is a bold strategy. But for those people, it should still be in your My AP. All right. Any other questions?
I have one.
Okay,
it's with the study guide.
Okay.
I'm confused about the guidelines for making your own study guide.
Okay. In what way?
So we have to make, for each video, we make 5 questions.
Correct.
So in total, it would be, well, I can't count it right now, but I just needed to clarify that.
Yes. So let's take, like, I'm on the page right now. Let's say you're in period 4. Period 4, there's videos. It's 10 videos. So you would need 50 questions for those 10 videos.
Okay, and with the timeline, we have to follow the video and create a timeline?
Correct. And you don't have to, like, do anything with that. You just have to watch this and write it down in order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would recommend, so if you're thinking about cheat sheets and things like that, I mean, it just depends on how organized you are and how quickly you can go through everything. I think the timeline is going to be pretty helpful in terms of a cheat sheet. So if you're like trying to figure out what are things to study, I think the timeline is actually a good thing to study from, just so you know like when events are kind of related to one another in terms of time. That would be one thing, one suggestion I would make.
Okay.
And then if you don't know what an event is on the timeline, that's why I kind of gave a brief definition for every single event on the timeline as well. Any other questions either about the AP review or the test itself? All right, I will explain the complexity point. I talked to 2 different graders about this and how to get complexity. And both of them act as if it's kind of a mythical point. So it's pretty hard to get, is how they kind of described it. But And I explain it right here. So it says AP is vague on this point, but the best way to get it is to have nuance. So that would be like a counterclaim or connecting your argument to multiple time periods in different eras throughout the argument. So the big difference between maybe how I've explained complexity before versus how these guys are grading for complexity is I've usually just said, hey, if you have a counterclaim at the very end of your argument, then you're good to go. What AP is saying is, no, like we don't give it just for that part of the paper. It really has to be complex throughout. The easiest way I could probably think about it, and this is like how I got them to explain it, it's basically somebody just flexing a massive historical knowledge throughout the entire paper. So it's like, hey, not only do I know that this is going on at this point, but I also know that this is going on at this point as well. And that's why, Ian, some people are thinking that the prompt's not going to actually cover multiple time periods, because it would be actually even harder to get the complexity point, because I don't know how you would get it at that point. What you would probably have to do is relate how like this social issue. So let's take one way you could probably still get complexity is, let's say they're talking about immigration, like how did immigration change socially? And you would be talking about the social changes of immigration. So there became things like Irish were coming over at one point, and then Germans, and then the Chinese. And so you would talk about how that socially happened, that while you would also be going through political changes due to that. So you would be talking about political machines and the Know Nothing Party, which could probably show complexity that you're showing as the social changes happening. It's also the political changes are being caused from it too. But I think that would be too hard, honestly, to do in a 45-minute paper. And then I feel like you could also get, like that would be dangerous in getting pulled off topic of where you're talking more about political changes than social change. So that's why I don't think it's going to cover multiple time periods. I'll let you guys know if it's covering multiple time periods, you can get a 5 even if you get 9 points. I'm very confident of that. I think they're going to cap the points somewhere around 8 points for a 5. So if it's a multiple time period prompt, I would probably just try to avoid complexity and focus on other things. Yes, Mael, how can I help you? So you want the sheet with all the vocab words from all the periods on one Word document? Is that what you're saying? Okay. What I will do is I will post it right here. So it'll say number 2, and it'll say master list of flashcard terms. Right. Anything else? Other things you guys want me to create or do or try to explain? Because I have time. I'm not very busy right now. That could have sounded sarcastic, like I'm really bored. I'm not busy. So yes, Henry. Maya, you can type out your question while Henry's typing out his question. I can probably answer to it. You know, Austin, I've thought about it. If I probably would, if I didn't lose my job, but if I could just flex and still prove that I could make a 5 on it, then I probably would take it for somebody. No, the drop lowest test grade doesn't count for the AP review. Yes, you could. All right, hold on. There's several questions coming in, which I actually just said you guys could do, and then it started to overwhelm me. And I'm locked out of it. Is there any way I could do it late? Yes, Henry, you can do your work late. You shouldn't be locked out of your AP, or you shouldn't be locked out of any quizzes or uh, crash courses anymore because I reposted all of them yesterday. Um, the Today in History quiz that you missed last week, you just need to email me. And for which Today in History is to do, you just need to go to my um, you just need to go to my Instagram and look, and I posted which ones to do.